So as we welcome in our senior NBA insider, Brian Windhorst, Brian, I think it's important to note here that overdue payment to Kawhi, which aspiration made a priority amidst this financial turmoil, it was allegedly made the same day as it laid off 20% of its workforce. That's according to Torre. So there's a lot to process here. Let's distill it down. What do you think is the single most important thing to take away from this new information?
The details that Pablo revealed last week were incredibly compelling. They also allowed the Clippers to have plausible deniability. That did not mean they were innocent, but when Steve Ballmer came and had that interview with Ramona Shelburne, he had plausible deniability. And as Adam Silver said, the burden of proof was on the league. These revelations that came out today had substantially less plausible deniability because of the amounts, because of the relationships involved. This one is going to be harder to explain. Now, Adam Silver made it very clear yesterday that it is dangerous to take a snapshot of something, especially when you're talking about very complex financial records, and that he would encourage and allow the investigation being done by Wachtell Lipton out of New York to play out before doing anything. Considering this is not just the vice chairman of the Clippers, but also their alternate governor, Dennis Wong, this probably will widen the scope of the investigation. And like I said, in the court of public opinion, which is not relevant, this one is very much harder for the Clippers to eventually have to explain.
And again, the appearance of wrongdoing is different than a finding of wrongdoing, which Adam Silver was very clear to hold judgment until the investigation has completed its course, which could take longer if, like you're saying, this requires a finer tooth comb. But Brian, what are you looking to hear next? Whether that's from the Clippers at Media Day, Kawhi Leonard himself, where we hadn't heard weigh in, what do you think is the next chapter here that NBA fans should be paying attention to?
Yeah, so it's very hard to predict because we're talking about a company that is defunct, that seems to have disgruntled employees, ex-employees who are releasing internal documents. And because of that, there's an incredible amount of unknowns. When the NBA has power to do an investigation, they have rules in their bylaws where they can investigate the teams. They can take the cell phones of Clippers employees. They can look at Clippers email documents, but they can't look at other companies' financial statements. And because those unknowns are there, it's very difficult to predict. Obviously, we will hear from Kawhi later this month when the Clippers gather for training camp. I would be very surprised if he comments on this, considering the various investigations going on, including federal investigations, of which this company Aspiration is involved in. And I also will say that this investigation, I think, will take a very long time to play out, but is unpredictable what will happen next.
Try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. The city, yeah, I'm here,